Welcome back to another episode of Life Along the Streetcar, where we cover the social, cultural, and economic impacts happening within the urban core, which we define as the University of Arizona on the east and A Mountain on the west. We cover all kinds of topics, and today I'm excited because we've got a really well-traveled guest on our show today, Matt August, who I'll have to do his own introduction because I just found out his title is like 3 sentences long. But he's with the Arizona Theater Company, and we're towards the end of one of their fabulous performances, but a lot to look forward to next season. So Matt, thanks. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's get this out of the way. The title. Hit me with the title.
My title is the Kasser Family Artistic Director of Arizona Theater Company. And Arizona Theater Company is Arizona's official state theater.
Yeah, I think that's important to note because whenever there's performances in Tucson and the Phoenix area, everyone always thinks it's from Phoenix and it trickles down here, but
that is not the case.
Pushing up that way.
That's right. Tucson is very much the home, has been and will be the home of Arizona Theater Company.
Well, I've got to talk, before we get into the theater and Dracula, which I've heard wonderful things about, I need to talk about you because I'm reading through your bio. I don't do a lot of research for the show. Honestly, I like there are a lot of candid conversations, which also means I'm kind of lazy. But you have been everywhere. You've done a lot. It's hard to find a place you haven't had a performance. Broadway, Grand Ole Opry, Madison Square Garden. You've got stuff in Europe. Tell me about that. But then how does that get you here to Tucson?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I've been very fortunate. I have definitely stood on the shoulders of some wonderful mentors who have been some of the country's best artistic directors of other theaters, other major theaters in other major cities. That has led me to a wonderful freelance career that I've had. It started off in New York, as most careers do, where I was fortunate enough to work on Broadway for a while, both as an associate director and then as a director of my own show, which was the holiday musical of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And that has now been, we were 2 years on Broadway with that, and then it's been touring the country, and it's played internationally.
That won some awards, didn't it?
20 years. Just audience awards.
Okay,
it didn't win any official awards on Broadway because we kind of came out of nowhere, and we didn't really have much of a push behind us. But we were the number one selling show on Broadway.
That's what I read.
For 4 weeks, and knocking Wicked off of their 100-week perch.
I've heard of Wicked.
Yeah. We topped Wicked at the box office for 4 weeks in the winter of 2006, and that brought us back for the next year. And then after that, I worked just freelancing around the country, and then I moved to LA and was in LA for a while and raised some kids there. And in 2015-16 season out here, a show that I had started at a small theater in Los Angeles, and then it got brought into the Geffen Theater in Los Angeles, which is a Lord B theater, which is similarly sized scale to Arizona Theater Company, and it's one of their major theaters in Los Angeles. We did it there, and then the former artistic director here, David Ira Goldstein, came to see it, and he invited us to do it at Arizona Theater Company, and that started my journey with ATC. David invited me to do the very next show, which the theater was producing. And it was the regional premiere of King Charles III. And we did that. And, there was some turmoil that summer about whether the theater was going to make it or not. And I'll never forget that, Kathy Allen in her review said, this production is exactly why Arizona needs to support Arizona Theater Company, is because we have theater of this quality happening downtown Tucson, and it's a treasure. So she was very supportive. And at that point, I started entering the conversation about being David's successor. And it took 3 times to actually make sure that the job worked out and the timing was right. I didn't get it the first time. I got asked a second time, and that was not right for me because of personal reasons, what was going on with the family. And then it came around again in 2000, at the end of 22. And thankfully it worked out, and I have loved being here. I love Tucson. I love the two-city model. We're the only professional LORT regional theater that operates in 2 cities, and there's only about 75 plus official LORT theaters around the country, and we're the only one that operates in 2 cities. But we build all of our shows here in Tucson with a local staff of full-time staff of 74 folks. We bring in over 100 artists every season from out of town or locally to help put on the plays, to design them, to direct them, choreograph them, to be the actors in the company. And we really do recruit from all around the country. So we are bringing the best of the best to Arizona. And our plays are just heavy hitting plays. And as you said, we've got a wonderful comedy on stage right now with Dracula. And it's doing fantastic, and the audiences are really loving it. So the programming seems to be resonating with everybody in town.
So you use the phrase a couple of times as LORT theaters?
Yeah, LORT stands for League of Resident Theaters.
Okay.
And so that is the official sort of umbrella organization of all of the fully professional producing organizations. And we are the only one of those in Arizona, which means that we are fully unionized. All of our staff and our crew and our artists who come in are all part of the collectively bargained contracts with all of their unions. Everybody is fully professional. Which means that they do this as their full-time job, not as a sort of a part-time hobby. And we, as I said, we produce our shows. So we are building all of the shows here in town with our staff, with our artists, and putting them up on stage.
Well, and let's talk about the stage for the moment, because you're in the iconic Temple of Music and Art. That's a 100-year-old building, and it's simply beautiful. But I would imagine that sort of presents some challenges maybe in production, or does it have everything you need?
Well, it's an exquisite theater, and it's very much of an old school theater. It was built off of the blueprints for the Pasadena Playhouse, which is the State Theater of California. It's a historic building, so there are things that we can't do to it, but it's very much ours to steward inside the building. The stage itself is state of the art. It's got everything that one really needs. There's an orchestra pit. There are fly galleries for scenery to be flown and tracked in and out. It's got a Broadway-sized footprint, so if we wanted to move the shows to other theaters, and that's obviously a concern as we move the shows up to the Phoenix Tempe area, we need to make sure that we have a stage that is comparable in size up there, which fortunately we do and have had. But it's a comfortable theater. It's got comfortable seating. We've got a lounge where audiences can come in and hang out beforehand and get a drink. There's a beautiful patio and courtyard with a historic fountain in there. And we've been around for 58 seasons. This is our 58th season. Not all of them have been at the Temple of Music and Art, but we hope to be around for another 58.
Yeah, and I will say it's one of those few theaters where when you're like maybe standing in line to pick up your tickets from the box office or something, you enjoy it because it's just such a beautiful surrounding. It's like, I just want to be here. It doesn't matter that I'm in a line or waiting for a performance. It's just a beautiful, beautiful setting. And it's on one of my favorite streets in Tucson with Scott, it's just fun to walk up and down Scott Avenue, in my personal, humble opinion. So let's talk a little bit about Dracula, because that is wrapping up here at the end of May. And then, here in Tucson, but it will travel then from here up to the Tempe area, correct? Yeah.
We are now also the home company at the Tempe Center for the Arts. So even though we produce all of our shows down here, we still are inside of a building there that allows us to be the home company. But yeah, Dracula it's really a wondrous show. We have the author who came in and directed the show, Gordon Greenberg, who is one of the hottest directors in the country right now. He just directed that Baker's Wife, Stephen Sondheim, the Baker's Wife, off Broadway, that is now rumored to be moving onto the main stem. He directed the Huey Lewis musical on Broadway. He can do that, and he's directed Noises Off all around the country. They're going to get another run at it again this summer. He regularly directs at the Old Globe. He directs on the West End. I mean, he's really a very special kind of director. And he came in and put the show up himself, his version of it. So we have the original voice and the original artist, the primary artist, as we like to say, come in and do it. And it's starring just a cast of wonderful, wonderful comics, anchored by Paul Vogt, who's on Mad TV, of course, and has, made a career playing Edna Turnbull all around the country and on Broadway in Hairspray. And we've got Christopher Stevens playing Dracula, who is just incredible to watch. He's a wonderfully classically trained actor who looks like the statue of David. So it's really a very mesmerizing Dracula to watch.
Does he normally do comedy?
If he doesn't, he should.
It's just interesting because I've seen a lot of times that, when you're classically trained, you have this idea that they're just very straight laced, but then when they get into the comedy role, they can just perform at such a high level. Yeah,
I think one of the things that makes this show works really so well, I mean, the show is very silly and it's very funny, but the actors are taking it very seriously, and every moment of their performance is deadly serious for them. It's a weird universe, and that's what makes it funny, is that they are not playing as if they're in a comedy. They're playing as if they're in a very serious drama that just happens to be super silly.
Now, I know in the past, it's kind of late, and this will be out just before it closes, but can people still go see it in Tucson, or do they have to wait to get up to?
We are on sale until we close Saturday night. So there's a performance, there's two performances
Saturday,
tomorrow.
It'll be the 16th.
Saturday the 16th. Okay. So there's two performances on Thursday. There's one performance Friday night, and there's two performances on Saturday, a 2:00 and a 7:30 matinee.
Okay.
And that's generally our schedule. We usually have 2:00 matinees throughout the week, 2 or 3 throughout the week, and then a 7:30 show at night, usually Tuesday through Sunday.
And tickets still are available?
Tickets are still available, yeah.
And then if for some reason they can't make it this weekend, how long before it starts the next version up north?
We open in Tempe on the 23rd of May. And
so then just a week?
Yeah. Yep. It takes us a week to jump the show. And then it'll close on June 6th. Okay. And for anybody out there who might be price sensitive for ticket prices, we have all kinds of discounts. We've got a community night discount. We've got a Pride night discount. We've got discounts for first responders. We've got discounts for teachers. We've got discounts for students. And we've got the balcony club, which are very cheap seats to sit up in the balcony for all performances. And we've got day of rush tickets for every performance as well. So there's always an opportunity for folks to come to see the shows, depending on whatever their budget is.
And where do we get information on that?
Go to atc.org, which is our website, and you can get all of the information that we have. I would also love to mention that we have a fundraising drive going on right now.
Of course you do. You're the arts.
That's right. We need them with government support sort of just drying up into nothing. We have some really wonderful local philanthropists that have stepped into that void and are helping us fill it. And one is the Connie Hillman Family Foundation, which has a 2-for-1 challenge grant going on with us right now. So for every $2 that are donated, they will donate $1 back to us. And you can get more information about that at atc.org/donate.
Okay. So then with Dracula, we wrap up this season of the theater, but then how long before the next performance here in Tucson? When does the next season start?
So we will go dark for the summer as we plan the next season, and we're coming in next season with Proof, which will open right at the beginning of October. I think October 1st is the opening night for that, or the first performance for that. And that's going to be a really special one. Not only is Proof on Broadway right now and it's seeing a resurgence. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful play in its own right. But Next season, we have loaded with incredible artists coming in to do these shows. And the artist that is coming in to direct that show, Proof, is none other than David Ira Goldstein, Arizona Theater Company's former artistic director, the guy who brought me in for the first time. So we're bringing him back to do that. He's got an incredible, just MVP team of creatives around him. And we're actually flying to LA next week to go audition the actors.
Okay, that was going to be my next question: is at what point you've got the season laid out, and then we can check out the whole schedule on ATC. Proof comes out in October. So at what point, walk me through this process. How do you decide that Proof is going to be one of the performances, because you have a limited time and space?
Yeah, season planning is probably the most stressful part of my job, because right now we're producing 5 shows on the main stage. It used to be that we were producing a handful more than that, but with the way that the budget cuts have gone down in the last 10 years. Sure. Really, we've just had to do fewer and fewer performances or productions. But we're down to 5 right now, and for my view is each one of those has to be a slam dunk. We've got to get shows that are appealing to the audiences that the audiences want to see. We need shows that are meaningful for where we are in the moment culturally. We need shows that are going to be inspiring, and we need shows that we're going to be able to bring students to that are going to inspire them and turn them into theater lovers and teach them the things that only theater can really teach. There have been study after study done that shows that when kids come to see theater, they express themselves better. They have a better understanding of their emotional landscape. They're able to identify emotions better, and they just become more mature a little bit faster. So it's important for us to be able to program such that we have shows that are with mature themes, but are not so mature that they can't resonate to high school and middle school students. Now that said, the most important thing is that we've got shows that are going to resonate with both our subscribers and our season tickets. And it's a little tricky because the Tucson audience is a little different than the Phoenix audience. So we've got to kind of thread those needles, and we've got a program for shows that we think will work in both cities. And next year, I think we've got a great lineup. We're going to start with this play Proof, which is a Tony-winning play. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning play. I mean, it's just a classic. And it's a play about a young woman who really comes into her own, discovers love, and allows her own genius to actually come out, and she becomes courageous enough to actually let people know exactly how smart she is. So it's really about this, caterpillar of a woman evolving into a butterfly. And the next show after that in our holiday slot, which will play here in December, is Little Shop of Horrors, which is just an incredibly popular musical about 2 down and out, workers on Skid Row who discover a get-rich-quick scheme, and it just goes out of hand. And so there's a moral to be had there, and it's got some of the greatest songs in the American musical theater canon, songs that everybody knows and everybody loves. So we're really excited to bring that, to be producing that. And then after that, we're going to be doing a wonderfully popular play called The Play That Goes Wrong, which is a story about a theater company that is trying to put on a murder mystery, and everything around them is just going wrong. The scenery is falling apart. Actors are forgetting their lines. There's mayhem backstage that they're trying to control, and it's just a really hilarious and again very popular play. And then after that, we're going to bring back August Wilson's plays into our lineup. We're going to be doing the very first play that August Wilson wrote as part of his 10-play The American Century cycle, and it's called The Gem of the Ocean. We've got an incredible director coming in to do that, Delicia Turner Sonnenberg, who's one of the most in-demand directors in the country right now, and certainly one of the foremost interpreters of August Wilson's work. So we're really lucky that we're going to be getting that one. And as I said, it's the first one that kicks off all the rest of his plays. And of course, his play, Joe Turner Come and Gone, is on Broadway right now. And it's a rare season that doesn't have an August Wilson season somewhere in it on Broadway. And you're covering the whole spectrum. You've got
serious drama, you've got comedy, you've got musical.
That's right.
That I'm sure that's intentional. You've got to. You mentioned subscribers, so you've got people that have a variety of interests. It can't always just be funny plays.
That's right. That's right. We our mission statement is to produce theater and tell stories that serve all Arizonans. And that really does mean everybody. It doesn't just mean we're going to cater to one demographic. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that we're going to pigeonhole ourselves with a certain kind of programming. It means that we're going to tell stories that are going to have an appeal. And it's not that every play is going to appeal to everybody, but there's going to be something in our season for everybody. And we think that there are things in our season that are going to maybe be new for folks but we know that they're going to love because they're just great stories. And just real quick, we're gonna finish the season with a new play called Killing Kit, which is where Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe are main characters in the play, and it's a murder mystery. Okay. And it is written by a very edgy and popular television writer who made a career of kind of disrupting television with shows like Gossip Girl and The OC, and he was the executive producer on the Batman origin story series called Gotham. And he's kind of taken Shakespeare and he's turned him into sort of a procedural investigative detective to figure out what happened what actually happened to Christopher Marlowe. And for Shakespeare enthusiasts, it's just Easter egg after Easter egg. It's very funny. It works really well as its own murder mystery. So we think that we're going to have that play is going to be a kickoff to a whole new sort of genre of Shakespeare murder mysteries turned into Hercule Poirot type of character.
It sounds incredibly exciting. I'm always in these interviews, like we always end up so pressed for time. I think it'll be nice as we get into the next season. Maybe we'll have you or someone on to talk about the performances and a little bit more in depth, because I think each one of those is probably going to need a little bit more time to really kind of get us our hands around it to see what kind of a gem we do have here in Tucson.
No, we'd love to come back. We'd love to come back, and it really is. It really is a gem that we have here. We are producing theater downtown that is Broadway quality. It's ready to move to other places. It's ready to move to New York, and Tucson should be immensely proud of what they have here at Arizona Theater Company. And for me, it was an honor to inherit it, and it's a pleasure to steward it forward.
Well, Matt August, Arizona Theater Company, I should say well-traveled Matt August with all kinds of, seriously, go to the Arizona Theater website and look at his resume. It just blew me away, all the things that you've been involved with. I appreciate you taking your time here with us today.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure.
Well, thanks again for your time here with Life Along the Streetcar. We focus on the social, cultural, and economic impacts in the urban core. You can catch us every Sunday on Downtown Radio, 99.1 FM. And then, of course, the podcast on our website, lifealongthestreetcar.org. We're also all over social media, YouTube, handles everywhere are Life Along the Streetcar. If you ever have a topic, something you would like us to cover, please don't hesitate to reach out. Tag us in something on the social media, or you can email us contact@lifealongthestreetcar.org. I hope you tune in every Sunday for another episode of Life Along the Streetcar. And until next time, stay curious, Tucson.